Good morning, everybody. My name is Jenny Ebsworth. I'd just like to acknowledge that we're meeting on Darug land this morning, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past and present. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Auntie. We're gathering together at Baabayn, Aboriginal Corporation, and got a group of us together here today just to talk about, to have a yarn about our relationship so far, our journey together so far. We're going to have a chat that's kind of facilitated by Roxy. So the conversation is in your hands, Roxy, just to talk about how we've journeyed together and what we can learn from that journey, and also just to keep building relationship between ourselves here, so that we can share, I guess, and celebrate some of those achievements with the wider community.
Great. Thanks, Mike. My name is Roxanne Saunders. I'm Murama. My mob's from Tari, Perthlead on the mid-north coast. I've been living in Sydney for now 15 years. I've worked in government department for 10 years, and I've been in the Department of Planning, Industry and Environment for the last 3 years. I'd actually just want to find a little bit more out about the Aunties that are here today. So I'll start with Auntie Jenny. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who's your mob, and how long you've been involved here?
My name's Jenny Ebsworth, and I'm a Murara Nimba woman. Came to live in Darug country in March 1980, and I've always loved the community. Very passionate about my community and love to see great things and want to see our people, go forward.
So John, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm from Mount Druitt, so I was born in Western Sydney. My mob are Gummeroi and Radri, so I'm a Murray. And I grew up around Mount Druitt. Mount Druitt's one of the biggest urban Aboriginal populations in Australia. And I think Western Sydney is the biggest urban Aboriginal population in Australia. And there's many different mobs in the tribal from different places, but we're all one community. And I've been here coming to support Baabayn because it's a community place and it's a safe place for everybody to come. And we've got our elders here to show that leadership, and we learn so much from our community and our elders.
And I like how you raised that, we all come from different communities, but at the end of the day, we're all one community, and it's great that we've got a lot of elders here that we can learn from. Auntie, tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm Auntie Days. I'm from New South Wales and the Victoria border. I'm Yorta, and I came to Mount Druitt in 75. And with the community, then the community started growing when I got here. There wasn't many, but it just started building up, and it was all different tribes from different places, and we sort of all got on real well, and we still get on well today, and we still got respect for each other in Mount Druitt, in our community.
You're a long way from home, but you came to the best state, New South Wales.
Oh, yeah.
Cassie, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a proud Murrawari, Wakamara. That's my tribe. Jenny's my mum, so when we moved out here to Mount Druitt, just like John, lived in the community, went to the schools here.
I'm Auntie Margaret. I'm a Bundjalung woman. I moved down here in the 60s. I'm one of the stolen generations that came down and moved to St Mary's in the early 70s. So I've been around a long time. And Baabayn plays a very special role in my life.
So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself, and how long have you been involved with Baabayn Aboriginal Corporation?
Oh, well, I call Blacktown home, so that's, I guess, where my heart is. And in Western Sydney, I've got a real connection with Western Sydney, have done and had all my life. I got a couple of kids, and I've been working out at Sydney Olympic Park for about 13 or 14 years now, which seems a while. And at least half that time, we've had a connection with Baabayn through a variety of programs that we collaborate on. I guess the main banner that people know that under is Murama.
So I'll throw this open to you. Tell us a bit about Baabayn. What are some of the services that you're providing to the communities?
Well, Baabayn, with the directors, they wanted a belonging place, somewhere that we can all get out of that, break that isolation community, and we really grew from there.
We wanted to create a place of belonging because as Aboriginal people, we was always on the fringe, and a few years ago when we first came here, we used to go to Mount Druitt and sit out in the front in the square, they call it the square, and police would come along and move Aboriginal people along, and we feel a bit disheartened today that, you know, every other culture's there now and nothing said, you know, but when our mob was out there, sitting out there in the square, they'd be coming along looking for people with fines, you know, ridiculous things, you know.
But the funniest thing is like today in 2020, we're still on stolen land. And they talk about us as thieves and cast the mirror. They cast all the negatives on us, but that's really just a reflection of what this society is. Because we're not thieves, but this country is still stolen land because there's still no treaty.
Exactly.
You know? And that becomes a intergenerational inheritance of that continuation of an implication in the crimes of the past. So until there's opportunities for the youth of today and the generations of today to heal and move forward, each generation is going to be implicated in the crimes of theft of land, of murder and massacre, destroying identity, eroding and destroying country. So it's really important that we put that mirror, instead of them putting that on us, put the mirror up and say, well, you call us thieves, but this whole continent's been stolen. And, you know, when it comes to us as Aboriginal community, we are the most generous of any communities. We had the Sacred Music Festival. We welcomed all the refugees at Sydney Olympic Park with Baabayn elders there to open their hearts.
That was nice.
Done a smoking and...
it was good.
You know, we shared our culture and opened our hearts and told our stories, and we reminded those refugees, you've come to this place in safety. You're fleeing persecution, being targeted by institutions of the state. You know, you'll flee to a safe place, but this place is where we're targeted by institutions of the state, where we're imprisoned at the highest rates on the planet, where our country is destroyed, where we have deaths in custody all the time. So we're refugees in our own country, and we understand what you've experienced, but because of the love we have, which is a pillar of our identity and our culture, we welcome you and tell you you're safe amongst us and you're welcome in our community. And you know, what mob does that? You know, but we're branded with all the deficits and negatives, but people got to see how strong we are.
We wanted to create a place, a safe place, a cultural place so that we can invite all of our community, you know, like from the young to the eldest, so that they can come here and be themselves and not feel ostracised or, you know, feel shame or anything. This is a place for them to come here and know that this is their place.
Because we're just volunteers, you know, the elders are volunteers and it's not a paying job. But we do it out of love.
Yeah.
You know, for the community, so...
That's what makes this place special too.
Yeah.
Is because it's done out of love and everybody wants to come here and make that connection.
Yeah.
We work as a group to support individuals, we turn no one away, and we seek to build our people's pride in who they are, their sense of belonging and their sense of connectedness to community and culture.
Our main purpose is to help our people heal from the past and build towards the future.
I love the group of ladies that come here. Such a good environment and a pleasant atmosphere.
I think it's a good healing thing for each and every one of us. And when we get to do activities and that, activities is really good, important, you know, with the communication that goes on.
All of us ladies was working on a little gollywalks today.
It's really important to have a place for Aboriginal women together and to come and share stories, to have a laugh. You always share a lovely meal at lunchtime.
A big part of what we do is run community events. Events such as our annual Christmas party,
Merry Christmas!
spiritual weekends away, NAIDOC celebrations, and our highly successful Mount Druitt Says No to Ice Day.
That a child was born here, and that child was born there.
And I love how you're looking after the young people in the community as well.
We want the best, and we want them to grow up feeling strong about themselves and not feeling like, they have to be on the outer limits, when the world's their oyster, and we've got some beautiful young people that are coming through, emerging elders and leaders.
So the Indigenous Youth Summit was based on our resilience, our strengths, and holistic understanding of the environment, our dynamic connections and kinship. And from that, working with our international partners, Native American community, they had a methodology called Gathering of Native Americans, which is a cultural intervention on intergenerational historic trauma. And that international partnership not only supported each other's communities, but it was something to say that we're sovereign people and we're working together internationally under the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples.
I've been thinking lately about, mental health and how it's affected our community. Do you have any tips or ways that we can sort of manage our mental health or kind of make it a little bit easier or kinder to ourselves?
Yeah, that's another tricky one because the strength of us and our community is our connection and our kinship. That's a pillar of our identity, That's especially healing for stolen generations. Like my mum was stolen generations and my granny, and for my generation, my mum worked hard to bring us back through link up to the community, and Baabayn plays that role to help connect through the healing space here and the healing space at Olympic Park, and it's about helping each other. But because of COVID, we sort of can't have a lot of people, but Baabayn does have a healing circle, and I think when we get together as a community, because of that kinship, that caring and sharing and that love we have for each other and for country, that's a real big healing energy and a big healing help for community.
So I've got a question for all of the Aunties and John. How have you found working with SOPA and that relationship that you guys have built? And for Mike as well?
I think some of the really good things that have come from working with Sydney Olympic Park and them now being under the DPIE, I think that it's really good that Sydney Olympic Park and the staff have committed to the long journey of walking together in partnership. It's not just a fly in and fly out, tick a box, see you later, we've fulfilled the policy needs for the minister and we'll catch you next time around when we need something. It's not about that. It's about that development of kinship and understanding what a relationship means and a partnership means from Aboriginal values, and being there when we need to be supported. So it's a boomerang. What you throw out comes back. So when you throw out patience and support and caring and sharing and respect, it'll come back to you. And that's what this is about, Baabayn giving back. So what we are doing well with government is having a real partnership based on values from community, not just the minister's new policy or Aboriginal Affairs new policy. It's about community taking our direction as sovereign people to allow us, through that United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, what it means is we as sovereign people are being honoured and respected in the way that we should be. That's the good thing that SOAP is doing.
From Murama and that connection with our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community, we're really understanding what a true custodian of country looks like and means. It's around really understanding our place and what makes it special and nurturing it in a way that it's protecting it for those future generations. So that's something that is really important to us now and has been facilitated through Murama and the healing space that's been created.
And another thing too I like about Olympic Park is how you've got the memorial. I think it's raising awareness about how there was frontier wars. Some people come to this country and they say that Aboriginal people didn't fight, but a lot of our people fought for the country, like people like Pemaway and all of those old leaders way back then, you know. And I love seeing that there because it's telling people that this has happened here and people need to know that we did resist, we did fight.
Mike, did you want to add anything on what you would like to achieve with Baabayn?
No, I think that
partnership.
The way we continue our journey at Sydney Olympic Park, and I think government more broadly, is to keep listening and to develop that understanding that that the solutions for community need to come from community without applying pressure, but just to keep opening the doors that enables that to happen. Some of the beauty of what we're enjoying together out at Sydney Olympic Park is the fact that it's an Aboriginal-led project, and I think we're only just discovering what that really even means. In many respects, it means getting out of the way, not doing things for community, but with community, like true collaboration, that we need to keep on the line of courageous truth-telling. And that started with the Frontier War Memorial that we spoke of earlier, but it needs to continue with the likes of some dreams we have around the Wonga Walk, this emerging cultural discovery experience at the park that will involve Stolen Generations Memorial, places to reflect, places to tell story.
They got to know that we had our stolen generation, that it did exist, and what happened to our ancestors and our parents and all that we still carry that burden for them. It's a hurting, but it could be a healing for us when we're talking about it too.
Like Aunt was saying, she was taken when she was little girl, stolen generation, the same as mine, my cousins. There was 6 of them, really 7 of them, and they was in at school and I was in school with them, and then the welfare come and got them. Like it's time to go out and play, so we went out and welfare had them and chucked them in this little green truck. And she said, I was running along the fence there, following the car, and then she sung out and she said, tell Mum But my auntie already knew because they took the baby. And then after that, I seen my cousin years and years ago, and she was blaming her mother, and I said to her, don't ever blame your mother, you blame the welfare, not your mother.
So my nan was taken to the Catholic convent in Brewarrina, and she was made to work for the nuns and for the kids. So she was sent to a school and didn't even get to go to school. She had to work for the white students at the school.
They took his siblings to Cootamundra. Then my dad went to Kempsey, Kinchela Boys Home. Later on in life, he went and looked for all of his brothers. He travelled and, he said, we got to start healing ourselves by telling them what happened to us there.
People started questioning me about my parents. Why are you dark-skinned and why are they light-skinned? And I came home and I asked my mum, and she went ballistic, and she said to me I was a throwback to another generation, and I wasn't to ask that question again.
And we have to be really clear what the policies were. The policies that were put in place were genocide. It's written, we know that. And we also know that it was acts of assimilation. So what it was going to happen was that they mix us in with the white people and then they breed us out. So that's the concept.
We're leading up to NAIDOC week. I've been asked by quite a few staff in our department, what does connection to country mean, and how does that mean to Aboriginal communities? And it's been a really interesting one because we all have different perspectives on what connection to country means to us. So Auntie Jenny, tell us about connection to country, what it means to you.
I think it's hard for me being an urban person and not, but I grew up on the riverbank in Brewarrina. I love the people and the place, and I've always had that connection. And just recently, like I was telling everybody, that I'd just gone back to country, and to me it was really important because it was my connecting place, and where all the familiar sights and the sounds.
It kind of leads into the NAIDOC theme this year, always was, always will be, and that connection to country. I think that's important that we're starting to acknowledge that, and there's a lot of non-Indigenous people out there who want to celebrate that as much as we do.
When people talk about always was, always will be, a lot of mob in mainstream community all already align that with land rights. But always was, always will be reflects our connection to country. We always will and always will be connected and be a part of country. We don't own it, it's a part of us. Country owns us, and that's what the rest of Australia have to understand. It's not a slogan for land rights, it's a slogan for a different way of living that all Australians got to learn. Country is a part of who we are.
Yeah, because if you're Aboriginal, it's always going to be in your heart. It's not in a flag or. You don't have to have red, black, and yellow to be Aboriginal. It's there.
I've been honoured today coming here and just seeing the work that you guys have done, and I've loved having this chat with you guys, like this yarn. And just seeing the work that you guys are doing here, it's amazing. And it's one lucky community that they've 't this connection to you guys, and you can come to a safe space and have a yarn and a cuppa and
Always was, always will be.
Oh, one take.